Welcome to another episode of the Back Catalogue podcast. This is the podcast where we, and by we I mean me, Apple, my co-host / co-founder Vincent. We dive into the streaming service. We tell you, the listener and the viewer, what is worth it and what is not. Vincent, we're here.
We're here.
We're here. What's been going on, man?
Nothing, man. Just,
I'm talking geopolitical. What's been going on?
Bro, what's been going on geopolitical? There's a lot of geopolitical things that have gone on.
And speaking of geo and political things, we are doing 2022's very own Lightyear.
Very meta in the geopolitical sense.
I mean, you know, when we're talking about SpaceX, we're talking about space travel, we're talking about space cadets, we're talking about Lightyear. It's all in the same bunch.
And we talking about like maybe nuking the planet. We might need to find another one. So
what can you do?
who are you going to send out there?
I mean, Buzz.
You're going to send Buzz?
Yeah. Aldrin or Lightyear.
One of the two.
One of the two has to go.
One of the two.
You know, rock, paper, scissors.
That's non-negotiable. That's non-negotiable.
Vincent, I'm going to give you some facts. We're going to get into this and then we're just going to leave this room, you know? Probably in about 15 minutes is all I'm saying.
I mean, that's what we do here.
I mean, this has got the 6 out of 10 on the IMDb. It's got the 75% on the Rotten Tomatoes. I can't see budgets here, but I'm going to look for budgets for you while I wait. But this came out in 2022's very own, which is crazy to me.
That's this year.
That's this year. So this
this year's had a lot of months.
This is telling me some bad news here. So this had a $200 million budget and it made $226 million.
Far out, 26 mil.
I mean, that probably did not make money back.
But you'd think, given it was streaming only, it wasn't in the cinemas.
The film was a box office bomb, so it must have been released in some cinemas.
Okay.
But yes, it was mainly streaming. So, I mean, there's probably costs associated with that.
Yeah.
I don't know how the metrics work, re Disney and things coming out on Disney Plus.
They were late to the party on this one, I think.
On this movie?
On this movie, yeah.
Well, can I give you a review real quick?
Yeah.
That's sort of gets
Is it from me?
Well, it might be. Let me have a look. Here it is. It says there's nothing for me here.
That's from me.
It's from me too, because I made that review up. Like I made it up right now.
No, do you want to know my actual review?
Yeah.
Like right now?
Right now. Just let's get into it.
Bro, I like this movie. 100% I like this movie.
Well, what we'll do is here, we'll talk about just the hits and the misses, because like...
Dude, you're telling me you got a robot cat and man's is like, I need to hack into the mainframe. Beep, boop, beep, boop. Come on. That got me.
I mean,
that got me. The first few times it actually got me. It got a bit old going on, but they changed it up. Changed it up.
The cat was top tier. We should probably give a synopsis of this movie before we jump into too many cats. And
like if you've got a robot cat and it's just shooting trank darts, just, not even on command.
Oh no, it just does it. It just does it at its own.
I mean, if we're talking artificial intelligence, that's intelligence.
And autonomy.
And well, yeah, I guess.
Because it's doing its own thing, really.
It's doing its own thing.
So I'm going to give you the straight up synopsis here, and then we're just going to get into best bits. Legendary space ranger Buzz Lightyear embarks on an intergalactic adventure alongside ambitious recruits Izzy, Mo, Darby, and his robot companion Socks. As this motley crew tackles their toughest mission yet, they must learn to work together as a team to escape the evil Zurg and his dutiful robot army that are never far behind. And we're here. Hey, Vincent, so Socks was one of your favourite characters.
Absolutely, man.
Would you say that Socks was your favourite character?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. I would also say, other than Socks being my favourite character, just the straight up, like when we entered into this movie and you see like Buzz Lightyear waking up from that cryo sleep, he walks out to the command center, whatever he is, he's pressing buttons. I'm like, is this a real movie? Like, is this live action here that we're talking about?
Bro, this was nice animation.
I mean, this animation was insane. I could not believe that they were able to. I mean, I know it's 2022's very own, but how are you going to make something look so crisp?
That's exactly what it was. It was crisp. It was crisp.
You see the true. I mean, he's got an absolute misshaped melon of a head, but you see the true shape of Buzz Lightyear's head. You see his bum chin. You see every single little.
Is he that oddly shaped in the Toy Story movies?
Well, because he always has like the purple thing on. I don't think you've ever seen his face.
You still see his head shape.
I mean, you look. I had a Buzz Lightyear toy growing up, and like you could squeeze the head. You could open up the shield, and you could squeeze his head. So maybe it's a play on that. Like kids will squeeze a head, you know, a toy's head. You know,
now with even more squeezable head. That's the marketing.
That's the marketing. Now, beyond the look of this movie, this is as cookie cutter as it will get. This
is absolute cookie cutter Pixar. Honestly, this could have been up.
Well, the thing is, it's there's no other reason for it to be a movie about Buzz Lightyear, except for the fact that they probably made a movie and they're like, bro, we need a name behind this. Because no one's just going to watch this basic movie. So let's make it Lightyear.
Nah, they 100% went in with the idea of making it Lightyear.
I'm going to tell you that they didn't.
No, they did.
I'm going to tell you that they walked into it.
You know what? I may agree with you because there were so many things that they could have done, throwbacks, that they didn't. The only thing that I can really think of is the spaceship at the end and the To Infinity and Beyond.
Yes.
There's not really, they didn't do it's not falling, it's what's called with style, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
He could have been what's according with style all over this movie.
Or at least even showing individuals from, do you remember the Buzz Lightyear TV show?
No.
See, but I understand that, you know, your TV watching was minimal back as a child. But there was a Buzz Lightyear animated TV show.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And they had all sorts of cool and crazy characters. It wasn't just humans in the team. It was like aliens within the team.
That's the thing. Where were those three little aliens? Because the thing in the first Toy Story movie, they know Buzz Lightyear.
Yes. They're linked in some capacity.
There was no link here. We just got vines and bugs.
Yeah. And that is the issue that I have with this. Like, you're doing Buzz Lightyear, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're doing Buzz. You're doing an intergalactic space traveling man. And you're doing insectoids.
That's absolutely not. Like, they already did that in Ants.
I mean, they did that in Ants and they did it well in Bug's Life too. You know what I mean?
A Bug's Life. That's the one I was meant to say.
But both work, right?
Both. I ain't even seen Ants. I've just seen Bug's Life when all the grasshoppers come and it's terrifying because there's grasshoppers everywhere. And then they take all they're like the mafioso.
Yeah, and this is the reality. And when you see that caterpillar like singing, like I'm pretty sure it does like caterpillar things and it does singing.
Yeah.
That's also terrifying. There was a different animation style then, and I don't know. Ants, no. Bug's Life. I was always just a bit. I felt off about that movie.
You felt off. I remember it being one of my top 3 Dead or Alive movies when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And like the only other movie I'd watch is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So, I mean, I didn't have a third candidate.
But that's hard to beat, though.
That's hard to beat.
Now, let me tell you something about Bug's Life really quickly. The water in that, you know how there's that water on that like leaf?
Yeah.
That's some good looking water.
That's next level. Whenever the dew drops.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, that looks good.
And when the ants suck it up.
Oh, man. Dude, I'll sit there and I'll watch that bit.
I tried that when I was a kid. Like, I tried to just suck up water like that. But it didn't work.
Off of a leaf.
Yeah, but it didn't work.
Yeah, you got to put it in a plastic bag, tie that plastic bag off, and you got to wait overnight.
It's too much effort. It was too much effort for me. And I didn't have the intellect.
And that's fair enough because you're only watching Snow White and ants.
That's
or
right.
A Bug's Life.
I know dwarfs, I know ants. That's it.
So this movie beyond, let's just talk about how it is simply a cookie cutter approach. We can compare it to the first Iron Man, right? So Iron Man comes in, he sets up this, nuclear or, he sets up those war, whatever he's got, bombs and business, right? He's doing bombs and business. He's in the BB, right? He goes out there, he's thinking, oh, dude, I'm making money, I'm doing my own thing. Oh my goodness, I'm not in a good situation. I've realized it's all my fault. I'm going to work my way out of here, right? And I'm going to do whatever I can to work my way out of here. Eventually things start getting better for him. Then he goes up against an evil version of himself. In the first Iron Man movie, you remember that guy who's also got an Iron Man suit?
Yeah.
It's bigger?
Yes, but it's bigger.
This is literally...
Yeah, that's right. They're like, hey, build me a suit, but it has to be bigger.
This is literally the same movie. Buzz Lightyear makes a mistake at the start. He's cocky, he's arrogant. He wants to be the man.
Nah, that's not how I see it.
Hold on a second.
That's not how I see it.
He wants to be the man.
That's not how I see it, bro. He's not in cold showers yelling, I'm the man. He's in cryosleep, just like saying nothing because he's in cryosleep. Dude lives and breathes ice.
But I mean, if you were in cryosleep, imagine like the gains that you would get, like mental gains. Because like when people do cold showers, they do the Wim Hof method. Like you turns that by 100, you're in a cryosleep.
The Wim Hof, man. The Wim Hof.
Yeah. I mean, that'll wake you up.
That'll wake you up. Yeah, no, I don't agree with the start. I understand because he's not Space kid, that's what they're meant to do.
No. He is meant to do whatever he's meant to do. He's meant to do cryo-sleep and whatnot. He's
Yeah.
meant to do all like pressing buttons and things. But he's not meant to, when the rookie's like, hey, can I help you? He's like, no, I'm Buzz Lightyear. I'm going to do it. Messes it up. Then he has to work his way back.
No, but he doesn't mess it up.
Buzz Lightyear messes it up. He could have called that man's to help him out, but he's like, nah.
Bro, there's no way the rookie could have done anything. Bro, that rookie, like, what was his name? Spaghettoni or something?
Yeah. Fettuccine. Spaghettoni.
One of the two.
Yeah.
He was not doing anything. Mans was getting strangled by a vine and he was just, hey, excuse me, I have my hand up.
Yeah, but just think
bro.
about yourself as a new recruit within the workspace. If you got locked in a toilet, you're not saying a word. You'll stay there overnight.
What do you mean? How many toilets have you been locked in new workspaces?
You're just going to be like, I'm just going to camp out here because like, I don't want to, I don't want to interrupt anyone else's work. That's what Spaghettoni was thinking.
Nah, bro.
That's what Spaghettoni was thinking. So we have two very different opinions on this movie.
That's not the start. I disagree that it's like Iron Man.
No, I'm not saying specifically the start. I'm saying the process of this movie.
Yeah, but that's just the process of a movie that has
nothing else to it. Exactly.
Look, I will admit that as soon as Zurg was old Buzz Lightyear, that fell apart.
Yeah.
And for a movie aimed at kids, that's too high concept.
Which kid is enjoying this movie?
Yeah, not many.
No.
I had a severe existential crisis after watching this movie, but we'll get into that into the Patreon. So if you're not on the Patreon, go there and just watch me break down after we break down this movie.
Dude. And like the magic wand today and you're still breaking down.
Bro, the magic one as well. Like clutch against Chef Curry. They had him cooking, but not the good kind of cooking.
Yeah, dude.
Bro, Bol, that's my guy.
That's your guy though.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
It was too high concept because it already had the time dilation of, hey, we're going up into light speed and that's good because that's teaching kids something. That's time dilation. They were doing physics things.
They were doing physics.
And I'm all for that.
Yeah.
But then having the time travel and it's like, oh, I can go back in time and change this whole thing and yeah, it just turned out because Zurg in Toy Story movies, he was a cool semi-villain.
Yeah, he'd shoot tennis balls at you, all sorts.
That's right. That was cool.
Yeah.
You get here and Zurg doesn't even look like Zurg. It's just the Zurg face with a big robot.
Yeah. And this is where you lose the heart of Buzz Lightyear. And I even think, Buzz Lightyear is, he's the word stoic. He's stoic. He's a stoic figure.
Yeah.
But he's also a bit of a, like, he's a bit silly. And I don't think, look, I'm not going to be the man to sit here and say that Chris Evans isn't a good role. Isn't a good person for any role. I put Chris Evans in any movie you can.
Yeah.
Because I love Chris Evans.
Put him in a sweater, make him the villain, but he's not the villain.
But he could be the villain.
But he could be the villain.
Yeah.
And he drives a really nice BMW.
Give him a moustache and something. I'm not sure what movie that is, but he's got a moustache and something.
Yeah. But that works.
That works. Dude, let me tell you something about Chris Evans. It's A-okay for me, as in him being Buzz Lightyear. I think his voice matched really well. I think it matched the character. But the one thing that we missed out on is just like Buzz Lightyear, sitting there with an arm hanging off, drinking tea, just being all crazy. You know when Buzz Lightyear has that existential crisis in Toy Story?
Yeah.
And
maybe that's why they did this movie like they did, to give other people existential crisis. So maybe we'll just rip an arm off and start drinking tea.
with a little pink apron on.
Yeah.
Which that's the vibe though. If I'm drinking tea, I'm wearing an apron.
I don't know why
I'm doing tea parties.
I don't know why you're wearing an apron.
Because like you made the.
Well, in that case, and that's okay. But if you just rocked up to a tea party with an apron,
no, you got to make at least 1 or 2 scones.
You have to. You have to.
Because you got to have the flour on you.
Arguably you could just sprinkle a little flour on you, but then you're doing fraudulent things, and that's not good for the soul. No.
Now tell me about your hits of this movie. I just go through them because I'll tell you about mine and it will last a couple of seconds.
I just like the heavy sci-fi aspect. I like the fact that the first time that he does his 4-minute trip and it fails and he comes back and it's been 4 years.
That is pretty cool because I was not expecting that.
And that's why, because you think it's just a lighthearted kids movie. Yeah. Dude, this was heavy sci-fi. Heavy sci-fi.
Well, those elements were. The rest was just like, I'm in a bubble and like, we need to come together to get out of this bubble.
Yeah. But I'm saying the environment was heavy sci-fi. There was, what a rich environment as well. Yeah.
Desolate land with like with bugs. That's an environment if I've ever
See,
seen
the
it.
vines were cool. The vines were cool.
Right.
The bugs, get the bugs out of here.
I will say the vines were hilarious as a bit that
Yeah.
continued throughout the movie.
Yeah. And especially when they'd built up things and the vines were just part of, you just had to deal with them.
It's like mosquitoes, right?
That's right. He's exactly right. Like mosquitoes.
Because we're in the most, as high tech as we're going to get, or as much as we've been in the past, unless you're into conspiracy theories. But we can't deal with mosquitoes.
No, that's right.
I don't care if you got AirGuard. I don't care if you got them zappers. You'll get bitten by a mosquito.
You'll get bit. You'll get bit. They'll find a way.
Yeah.
Where there's a mosquito, there's a way. Then, man, let me tell you, when he comes back, and you know it's coming. He comes back for one time and Alicia's not there.
Yeah.
Bro, that got me.
Yeah. Hawthorne's not there.
Hawthorne's not there.
Yeah. I mean, look.
I mean, you're a man that comes in these movies and just, I'm the man. He just does them ones. And
No, I could just take myself away from, characters that have not been built up.
bro, that
if this is Toy Story 3 and Woody and Buzz have been together for 3 movies and one of them walks away,
Nah, bro,
I'm
that's
tearing
built
up in that.
That's built up. What about the scenes in Up?
With the scenes in Up,
As in
you
Up.
know that you can't compare.
I'm not saying.
You can't compare Up to this first 10 minutes of Up to any other movie. That's done in a certain way.
Yeah, I know it's done in a certain way, but I'm saying it's still built up to a degree.
Plus, I was in the cinema going, I'm the flipping man! During Up, so I couldn't cry.
Sir, would you please be quiet?
This is a kid's movie, sir. I'm the man.
I'm the man.
Bro, you say I'm the man, you won't cry. You be at a funeral, there'll be sad things. You say
But
I'm the man.
that's just toxic masculinity, to the highest degree.
And I mean, it's toxic for you because you need to cry occasionally
That's
to
exactly
get
right.
the emotions out.
You need to get the emotions
It's
out.
positive.
Anyway, that was emotional for me.
I mean, that was
Emotional.
fun.
One of the scariest bits in this movie was when, what's the kid's name? The granddaughter? Hawthorne.
Played by Keke Palmer, who's a fantastic actor.
Yeah, well, I didn't see any of her acting in this, so I can't say whether she's a good or bad actor. Because Hawthorne Jr. is scared of space.
So it's Izzy Hawthorne.
Izzy Hawthorne. Okay, Izzy Hawthorne. She's terrified of space. Rightly so.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
I mean, you look up, you look down, and there's
the same
nothing.
thing.
You look up, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And you push off the wrong direction. Like, that's it.
You
That's it for
you can't swim back.
You cannot swim back.
Oof.
And when she goes from one airlock to the other, bro, that had my heart racing.
Yeah.
That had my heart racing. And, nah, man.
I did like the person that was on parole, just chilling out.
Yeah.
I think that was a hilarious bit.
I like that group.
Yeah.
I like the group together. Taika Waititi's character was a bit too much sometimes. It was a bit.
I mean, when they brought out that ham sandwich, I was like, that's high concept. That's high concept sci-fi.
That's right. I mean, that's just high concept sandwich.
Yeah.
When are we going to find a sandwich joint? Shout out to our YouTube channel where we do sandwiches and other things. That's when are we going to find for that?
Like all meat all the time, except for the middle.
Because really, it's too much bread.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's too much bread.
In saying that, bro, you seen the new Bottega Bandito sandwich?
Nah.
We're gonna have to eat that.
Oh, are we? Okay.
Yeah, bro, that looks good. Man.
Okay, I haven't seen that, but that's maybe something that we have to do.
Yeah, Taika Waititi's character, I think, they just wanted Taika Waititi. They needed Taika Waititi in there to do Taika Waititi things, and he did that.
I think some parts were good, really good, but other parts were just too much.
Yeah.
They're too much.
I think that, I mean, you have, within Pixar movies and all these animated movies, there's always stuff for adults. There's always stuff for adults because who's taking these kids to the movies, right?
Yeah.
You want to try to make it a universal movie.
Without it being Universal Studios. Then all your money's gone.
That's right.
Disney's not getting it.
You're just giving it to Shrek, is what you're doing.
It to Shrek, that's right.
I don't think that's Universal.
He's DreamWorks.
He's DreamWorks, yeah. But Shrek could still get it.
He could still get it. You just don't know. Shrek could have been picked up by a streaming service that is owned by a parent company that's also owned by Universal.
You never know these days, man. They're all in cahoots.
Bro, they're all in cahoots. It's just rich white people, old rich white men buying or giving money to other old rich white men.
Yeah. And Chris Tucker said it to Jackie Chan in Rush Hour. Follow the old rich white man.
Follow the old rich right man.
That's a tongue twister. But what I was going to say was when you've got a consistent running joke about someone being on parole,
Yeah.
who's the target audience there? Like it's of adults, right?
Yeah.
But then every single other joke is adults, other than maybe the beep boop beep boop.
This
of
is
this cat.
definitely not a movie that is made for kids, which is as in they. It is a movie for kids, but it's got nothing for kids apart from Buzz Lightyear things, and he's not even doing that many Buzz Lightyear things. No. It's not an exciting movie in that sense.
And the fact that you do get the suits throughout, but the fact that you get like I would have just gone heavy on like it's just Buzz Lightyear things all the time.
Yeah,
he's in the spaceship. He's doing To Infinity and Beyond.
Yeah, I think they almost tried to make this a more in-depth movie than it should have been, because it's not, it's not like a Pixar original that liken up like the movies like the original Toy Story. It is a spin-off that is pretty much intended to just, reach into the pockets of heads that watched all the Toy Stories growing up.
Yeah, and I'm sure like toys, like the latest toys and things of Buzz Lightyear, they would have sold. That's where they would have made their money.
Yeah, probably.
When you look at this movie and when you hear there was someone sitting in a boardroom, they were thinking, how are we going to get Buzz Lightyear back involved so we can make some money? Because Toy Story's on a break for at least another year, right?
They got to be done with them, surely.
I mean, they'll pull out another Toy Story.
They'll pull out another 7.
I'm pretty sure they said...
But is it a sequel or what is it when there's more than...
I mean, dude, we got to ask Mick and Ori about that.
We got to ask Rick and Porridge.
We got to ask Rick and Porridge as well. All 4 of them. But with this movie, someone sat down in a boardroom, said, hey, look, I've got this movie. How can we, it's a completely different story idea. This guy's name is Jim. That guy's name is John. How are we going to link it to these kids?
Yeah.
Why don't we make it Buzz Lightyear? It's like, is it going to be like an adventure of Buzz Lightyear? It's like, no. This is the movie that Andy watched before he went and bought the Buzz Lightyear toy.
Because it makes it even worse, because it starts off like that and then it's just this movie that a child would not watch.
No.
And it's not that you're not going to, that's like someone marketing Blade Runner and putting like little Harrison Ford dolls there. With the dude who's jacked and he's like raining. Well, he's crying in the rain, and you're like, oh look, I've got this man's. I can't remember what he is, but like he's a synthetic human. Look at him, it's real tears.
It's real tears, but they're lost in the rain.
They're lost in the rain, like the time and whatnot.
If you showed a kid Interstellar and said, hey, do you want a Matthew McConaughey toy? That's what this is.
I mean, they'll say, all right.
I mean, they have to though, but that's legal. Though.
That's right.
You've signed the document if you watch Interstellar.
You've signed the document.
And I mean, I'd rather watch Interstellar. I know this movie was now 48 minutes, but I'd rather sit down for the 2 and a bit hours to watch Interstellar.
I'm not disagreeing with you that this was not a good movie. I'm just saying I kind of enjoyed it because it was heavy sci-fi things, and it was a bit of an exciting adventure and whatever. And I mean, the anytime you get time travel in there, I'm there. I don't care how bad it is. I'm there for it.
Oh yeah, you could do anything from Back to the Future to Avengers Endgame to this, and if it's time travel things, I'm excited by it.
Yeah, the ending of this movie was also top tier trash.
Well, I mean,
in terms of the climax with old Buzz, because it was just, we're going to go back and the regular Buzz is like, yeah, no, this is great, and then I can fix my mistake, and then old Buzz is going, yeah, and then none of these people ever exist, the dogs, and then the regular Buzz is going, hold on, I've got this lady, like she's almost done her parole. And then that was it.
It doesn't necessarily make, and this is not a good message for kids either. That people can have 2 different opinions, and both of them are right in their context, but then they have to go to war.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. This is when you talk it out. That's especially if you're the same person, like you know what each other's thinking.
Yeah. So,
look, I'm going to give this movie just a flat 3.5, and I'll tell you why. Because this movie looked fantastic.
It did.
Like, I don't know where or why I'd watch this movie again, but if you gave me that first 20 minutes when Buzz is doing all the things through space and he's trying to get that whatever the
space crystal
to work appropriately, you put that on a music video, like I'll watch that music video,
Man, yeah, I agree. I'd probably give this a 5.5, just over average for me. I enjoyed it. But it was, and I understand that the message was it's okay to make mistakes, but then you just move on, you own it. But it didn't commit to that, because you had old Buzz being like, no, that's it. Really, there needed to be a resolution there. And old Buzz is like, man, I've just wasted 50 years of my life.
Yeah.
And then that's it. And then they just leave him on his spaceship, and then he zips off doing Zurg things somewhere else.
Or they say, let's work together.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to have Zurg as a villain.
You have to have Zurg.
And there's also like, be a team player. There's also those elements
that's
to it.
right.
But I mean, I would have preferred, in my opinion, and this is humble. I'm as humble as Khabib Nurmagomedov, In my opinion, I would have preferred to see the original Hawthorne and Buzz go through an entire movie together.
Yeah, doing Space Ranger things.
And I think they had a better rapport than whatever Buzz had with the other three.
Yeah, I can probably see that as well.
Put socks in it. Put socks in the movie, but have the original Hawthorne.
Bro, put socks in it.
Yeah. And put a sock in it, Vincent. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. You can find us
at the show on... That's just a reference to a podcast that's more successful than this one.
That's right. But that's it.
Vincent, that was Lightyear. This has been the back catalogue.
Talk soon.
Yes.
We did it,
I'm
bro.
the man.
We did it, bro.